Well, hello there. I'm Gemini. That battery can last up to 24 hours even with the always-on display turned on. It's pretty cool.
Hey there, and welcome. So, you've started a side hustle or a small business, right? You know how quickly those expenses can start piling up. But what if I told you that some of your biggest costs, we're talking your car, even your home, could actually become some of your most powerful tax deductions? That's right. So let's dive in and break down exactly how to do it. And most importantly, how to do it the right way.
You know how this story goes, right? A passion project, something you do for fun, suddenly starts to look like a real business. It's super exciting, but man, it also brings up a ton of questions, especially about taxes. So to make this real, let's meet a guy named Tom, who found himself in this exact spot.
All right, so meet Tom. By day, he's a high school teacher, but in his off hours, he's this amazing woodworker, making absolutely beautiful furniture. And pretty soon, people weren't just admiring his stuff, they were literally begging him to build pieces for them. And just like that, poof, Tom's hobby starts bringing in cash, and he's starting to dream about maybe, just maybe, opening a real furniture store one day. I bet that sounds pretty familiar to some of you. So, tax season rolls around, and Tom's made a respectable $3,500. But now he's staring at his tax forms asking the exact same questions every single new entrepreneur asks. Okay, can I deduct the cost of my workshop? What about all my tools, the varnish, and all those trips I made to the hardware store to pick up supplies? These are the big questions, right?
All right, now before we get into all the good stuff, all the things you can claim, we need to have a serious talk for a second. There's something really crucial you have to understand. Claiming these home and auto expenses, it's one of the best ways to slash your tax bill, no doubt. But it also puts a giant spotlight on you. You're basically waving a flag at the tax authorities. And yeah, this slide says it all. The source material uses these exact words. These deductions are both lucrative and frequently audited. That means the Canada Revenue Agency, the CRA, they are paying very close attention to these kinds of claims. So what's the big takeaway here? It's simple. You absolutely have to do this by the book. And don't worry, that's exactly what we're going to show you how to do.
Okay, so with that little warning in mind, let's tackle the first big write-off, your vehicle expenses. I mean, pretty much every small business owner has them, but they're also where a ton of mistakes happen. So let's break this down and figure out how to get it right. Honestly, it all boils down to 3 super simple steps. First, you've got to keep an auto log. Second, you tally up all your car expenses for the whole year. And third, you calculate what percentage of your driving was actually for business. That's it. Log, tally, calculate. Let's dig into each one.
Okay, let's be crystal clear. This logbook is not optional. It is mandatory. You have to use it to track every single kilometer you drive. You can use a simple notebook, an app on your phone, whatever. The important thing is to be consistent. Now, here's a bit of good news. The rules have eased up a little. You need a super detailed log for your first full year. But after that, a solid 3-month sample period can actually work, as long as your business use stays pretty much the same. We're talking it doesn't change by more than 10%. So what actually counts as business driving? Well, think about it. Trips to pick up supplies? That's business. Driving to meet a client? Yep, that's business too. So what's personal? This is important. Your daily commute to your 9-to-5 job? That's personal. And that quick run to the grocery store to grab some milk? Also personal. The absolute key here is to draw a clean line between the two. Next up, you've got to tally up all your expenses. And they basically fall into 2 main buckets. You've got your operating expenses. That's all the day-to-day stuff like gas, oil changes, repairs, even car washes. Then you have your fixed expenses. These are the costs that are pretty much the same every month, like your insurance, your license fees, and any interest you're paying on a car loan or your lease payments. You got to track both of these. And this is where the magic happens. Look at this worksheet. You can see the total kilometers driven all year versus the kilometers driven just for business. So you add up all those operating and fixed costs to get your grand total. In this case, it's over $12,000. Then you do the math. You figure out that business percentage. That percentage determines your final deduction, which in this example is a very nice $8,631. Not bad, right? All right, we've covered the car, so now let's pivot to your home. Whether it's a dedicated office in a spare room or a workshop out in the garage like Tom has, you can absolutely deduct a portion of your home's expenses. But, and this won't surprise you, just like with the car, there is a very specific formula you have to follow. So what exactly can you claim? Honestly, a whole lot more than you might think.
We're talking about a piece of your heating bill, your electricity, your home insurance, even maintenance costs. And get this, you can even include a percentage of your mortgage interest and your property taxes. Even little things like cleaning supplies or paying for snow shoveling and lawn care. A portion of that can be on the table too.
So how in the world do you figure out the right percentage? It's all about something called the home workspace ratio. And listen, this is probably the single most important calculation for this entire deduction. It's simple math. You just divide the square footage of your business space by the total square footage of your entire home. Now here's a common trap people fall into: claiming a room that does double duty. If your office is also the guest room, you have to be reasonable. You can only claim the portion of that space that is exclusively used for your business.
Let's look at how this works with some real numbers. So in this example, the total home expenses for the year were $18,279, and let's say the workspace, the office or workshop, took up about 10.4% of the home's total area. You just multiply those two numbers together and you get your allowable claim. In this case, that's a solid $1,904 deduction. See? It all adds up.
Whew. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground, right? Deducting your drive, claiming your workspace, how to run all the numbers. But if you remember only one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. This is the golden rule.
Just look at this slide. The difference could not be more black and white. If you have detailed, organized records, I'm talking your auto log, all your receipts, your calculations, all laid out, your claim is very likely going to be approved. If you don't, well, you can expect that claim to be reduced or just flat out denied. It really is that simple.
So after everything we've talked about, what do you think is the single most important tool for your new business? Is it your hammer, your fancy laptop? Is it your vehicle? What do you think? Nope, it's your record book. It doesn't matter if it's an old school physical notebook, a spreadsheet, or a fancy app on your phone. Diligent, consistent record keeping is the absolute foundation of every single deduction we have talked about today. The ultimate takeaway is this: document everything. That is the key to turning your expenses into savings and running your business with total confidence.